70% of agents don't use their CRM consistently, which means missed opportunities, leads that go cold, and follow-ups falling through the cracks. But what if I told you there was a way to cut through all of the complexity and focus on what matters, building relationships with your clients? That's where Huzi Contacts comes in. It works in tandem with your CRM, so you don't miss any opportunities generating new leads or closing clients in your pipeline. I'm going to walk you through a simple workflow that's going to allow you to segment your audience, personalize messaging to that audience, and utilize that spendy CRM. Let's say we just got done wrapping up an open house, and we're scrambling to figure out what we want to write in the follow-up email for everybody who came. We talked to probably about 10 to 12 people during that time frame, and 2 people showed a lot of interest. There was John, who was interested in the surrounding schools of that neighborhood, and then there was Sarah, who is planning to buy in February of 2025. Now, these are small details, but they're key when writing follow-up emails because now we can make a personal connection to their interests or their needs and provide some real value in that follow-up email. So let's rewind really quick to when we were actually at the open house talking to John and Sarah. Right when I finish up the conversation with them, I can pull out my phone and open up Huzi. And all I have to do is ask it to create contacts for me and add some of these details to the notes section of that contact. And I'll show you how to do that. Huzi, will you add Sarah Jones to my contacts and make a note that she wants to move in February 2025? She has a baby on the way and loves going on hikes. She was at my open house at 2002 Northwest 16th Ave in Portland, Oregon. I also met John Smith here, and he was interested in schools in this area and mentioned he is a brewery connoisseur. Will you add him as well? Now I'm back at home, the open house is over, I've packed everything up, and I want to write these follow-up emails. So I'm going to pull Huzi up on my desktop and start working with the contacts that I created and getting some of that specific information on how I want to follow up with these individual clients. First, I'm going to write a thank you message to all people who came, just as a courtesy. But then I'm going to ask Huzi a couple of questions about John and Sarah so I can create 2 new emails, one for each of them, that are specific to what they wanted or needed from that house, neighborhood, or surrounding area. I'm just going to start off by asking Huzi to give me all the contacts that came to my open house. Huzi, will you provide me all the contacts that came to my open house at 2002 Northwest 16th Street, please? Okay, so I've obviously added a couple of extra contacts in here just for this tutorial's purpose because we are going to create that generic email that thanks everybody, and then we're going to get granular with Sarah and with John, creating them their own individual emails. So what I'm going to ask Huzi now is just to create a thank you email for these specific people. Huzi, will you go ahead and create a thank you email just thanking everybody who came to the open house and letting them know that I'm here to help them with any information they're wondering about the open house, about the surrounding areas, or any of the activities that they're looking for near 2002 Northwest 16th Ave, please? Okay, so Huzi's created this draft, and there's a couple of things that I can do with it. So I'm gonna hit these 3 dots here. I'm gonna just say, email this to me, which basically just puts it in my inbox with whatever email I've signed up here. Or I can copy and paste it into my CRM with a list that I put together with these contacts. Okay, so now we have the email basically all done. I'm just gonna throw in my name, my contact information, and call it a day. But for Sarah and for John, I wanna create some specific emails. So I'm gonna ask Huzi, will you provide the notes section for my contacts, Sarah and John, please? Okay, so now we have our notes section here for Sarah, who wants to move in February 2025 and has a baby on the way, loves hiking, and same with John. So he's interested in schools in the area and he's a brewery connoisseur. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Sarah and just say, Huzi, will you specifically thank Sarah for taking the time out of her day to join the open house, and that I want to tell her that I enjoyed our conversation, and please include a couple of the local hikes near 2002 Northwest 16th Ave. Okay, so Huzi's gonna go and do a little research on the address to go find these parks where she would love to hike. So we have Forest Park and we have Washington Park. I'm gonna get a little more specific here. I'm gonna ask Huzi, will you list actual trails that she can go hiking on with the address of how to get there to these different parks? I want this thank you email to have a real personal connection and let her know that I was actually listening to her when we were talking. Perfect. Okay, so now we have these actual addresses to these different parks just to help her out. Maybe if she was an out of towner, doesn't really know the area that well. For John, I'm going to do something a little different. Huzi, will you write a thank you message to John, thanking him for coming to the open house, letting him know that I enjoyed our conversation, and provide a couple of the top-rated middle schools in the area close to 2002 Northwest 16th Ave. I'd also like you to provide a PS at the bottom of the email that has some awesome local breweries near that area. Go ahead and check out the internet, see what you can find for those breweries, and please provide the addresses as well. Okay, so now we're going to do this one for John. We're going to see exactly what Huzi comes up with as far as those local elementary schools or middle schools for his kids and those breweries that we want to put in that PS statement. So there we go. We have Northwest Academy, Harriet Tubman Middle School, and then we have the PS 10 Barrel and Deschutes Brewing as well. As I mentioned before, Huzi contacts and your CRM work in tandem together. And I want to show you some statistics around why it's a good idea to produce better marketing, because you will get better results in your CRM as far as open rates, click rates, and conversion rates. Number one is AI-powered CRMs can improve customer retention rates by 52%. 69% of marketing leaders believe that AI in CRM enhances personalized customer experiences. AI can increase customer satisfaction rates by up to 25%, and 86% of customers are willing to pay for a better customer experience. Now, the other reason I'm showing you these statistics is because you want to have an awesome follow-up pipeline, which Huzi can now create for you. So whether they were a first-time home buyer, whether it's been 6 months since they bought their home, whether you're following up with them to see if they're ready to buy a new home 10 years later, we can now take the majority of this population, ask Huzi, hey, what do people want to see in an email who are in their 60s, who have purchased a home 10 years ago, and I want to follow up with to see how they want to navigate their next purchase. Huzi's going to come back to me with a response that says, here's what the majority of people in this population doing these things want to see in their follow-up marketing. Getting in with AI now and starting to learn how to use it and create these marketing materials for your CRM is going to put you ahead of the game 1, 2, and 5 years from now. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can find all of our other tutorials in the Huzi Learn section of your Huzi account. And if you have any other topics that you want to see covered, send us a message at support@huzi.ai or post in the community.